Hello, Philip here from Chiang Mai, northern Thailand. Today I'm here to talk about education, and in fact I'm going to be talking about education throughout 2023. This is the year where my brand of education goes global through the internet and the opportunities given to us through online learning. Now, I'm going to ask you to pause the video in a minute because I'd like to invite you to reflect upon one of my quotes. And I have this quote which, for me, quotes express truisms and they're offered as a point of discussion where one may disagree or not. But let me offer you this truism of mine about life, human life, and I'll ask you a question after it, upon which I invite you to pause the video and think about the answer for yourself, and then restart the video and see what I say about it. So this is the truism. Today's society is yesterday's classroom. Today's classroom is tomorrow's society. Okay, so I invite you to consider not whether it's true or not, but what that makes you think about. What does it trigger in you? Think about what's happening today in our world and is it linked back to classrooms before today? And if you know about what's happening in the classrooms today, what does that say about our tomorrow? Okay, so pause. Welcome back. I presume you've unpaused, or did you not even pause? Now, we all know in 2020 the human world went into full-blown calamity. I actually think of it as humanity's calamity of insanity, because I like rhymes, but it's not far wrong. If my truism is correct, then that suggests that yesterday's classroom for the last generation or longer is not good. And if we look at today's classroom, this gives us a very good idea of what we've got lined up for tomorrow. Now, in one of my Telegram feeds, I'm in several groups in Telegram, which is perhaps the most uncensored platform available today. I've just discovered that in England, either England or Scotland, I'm not sure, but in Britain, some schools, I don't know how many, but some schools require children to scan a QR code in order to go to the toilet. And it doesn't matter whether you know this man or not, although I understand he's extremely popular on social media, or not necessarily popular, but very well popular by numbers. In some schools, the mention of somebody called Andrew Tate it's been banned, and teachers are asked to report any pupil who even mentions this person's name, because it's been declared he's a misogynist, a racist, blah, 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 blah. Banned from even mentioning somebody's name. You want to go to the toilet, you've got to scan a QR code. In my classrooms, mobile phones are not used. Get rid of them, unless we're using them for research purposes or part of the learning thing. But learning is anyway, that's a different environment, different story. So I'm not suggesting that this is the same for all schools, but the very fact that this is even happening in at least one school suggests that something's gone terribly wrong, and I know it's gone wrong. The schools are damaging children, and then the children become adults. We're the adults, we were the children. We got damaged in school. Now, because we were damaged, we damaged the children. That's what's happening. And damage is the right word. I look at education, most of it, not all of it. There's always good exceptions everywhere. Exceptional schools, exceptional teachers. This is not to have a go at anybody, it's to have a go at the system that we humans have tied ourselves to. We've enslaved ourselves to some kind of system, some kind of faraway external rule or authority. Ban him, do this, do that, a million rules for everything. I mean, society's got literally hundreds of thousands of rules. We all know that in schools, rules rule. So where am I going with this? I don't know. I just wanted to come on and talk about it. Education to me, and I'm an educator, I became an accidental teacher in late 1991 because I had gone travelling to Thailand and big adventure. I didn't want it to finish, the money had run out, so I took my way into a teaching job and immediately discovered how much I loved teaching. And this was to adults, not children. And so teaching, to me, is learning, and learning is teaching. It's all mixed up. And in the classroom, you're in there, and you're there for a social, communicative experience. You're there to inquire and open your mind up and investigate and explore and discuss things and have disagreements and agreements and everything, the whole gamut of the human experience. The classroom for children is where we bring up our children, and whatever happens in the classroom, in the children, before they can defend themselves, that's what they become when they enter the adult world. And we're in a bloody mess right now in the adult world, huge mess. So therefore, I conclude, and I've seen it myself anyway, and I've heard from hundreds of thousands of children and teachers, because I talk to them. For 30 years I've been talking to people, Australia, England, Thailand, and my students are teachers and they come from various countries. So I talk to all ages, all professions, and undeniably schools are terrible and have been for quite a while. Mark Twain was quoted in the 1800s as saying, "I never let my schooling interfere with my education." So, it's nothing new. And it does tell us why humanity is in such a mess. But more to the point, if we don't change the classrooms, if we don't change this mad banning attitude and this mad total control attitude, use your phone to go to the toilet. I even heard that apparently that they record your toilet usage time as well. Jimmy, you've been in the toilet for too long. You're only allowed 3.5 minutes. You had 10 minutes. What's going on, Jimmy? Yeah, it's mad. So, I could talk about this for hours. We're social animals. Humans are social animals, but in 12 years in schooling, we're turned into antisocial human beings. That we can achieve anything as adults is testament to our magnificent human spirit and human essence, but which the adults, because they've been demoralized and broken by their own schooling, they're now doing the same. So again, I don't blame anybody, but this is what's happened. We're stuck in a vicious cycle. So, in the classroom, just a quick example, we sit in rows and columns. So there's no facial interaction, no eye contact, no collaborating, no teamwork, no group work, no communicating, no practicing of listening, practicing expressing your ideas. Today everybody says, "Oh no, disagreement's no good," and I'm offended. What a load of nonsense. What are we? The same homogeneous shape and mould, all of us, 8 billion people. It's what they're trying to create out of us. Banned from talking about Andrew Tate. Now, I happened to come across Andrew Tate the other day and realised that I'd seen him in a discussion many months ago, but he was being interviewed by Piers Morgan, and it turned out that he's one of the most well-known social media people that's been banned from Twitter, banned from Facebook, banned from YouTube, banned from everywhere because he's got the wrong thoughts. It doesn't really matter whether he's, what he's talking about. We had freedom of speech. The idea of freedom of speech is that when you hear something you don't agree with, that's when you really want the freedom of speech, because now you can talk about it and discuss it and understand better. So, this banning thing is nothing new. Many years ago, in the early 2000s, I remember I was teaching one new group of teachers. So, I either teach new teachers or experienced teachers. And this was the certificate program, so it's for beginner teachers, new teachers. And, we had students from various countries, including America and China. And all Western people are brought up that we come from the free countries with freedom of speech, freedom and freedom of the media and so on, and that China's communist and they don't talk about this and you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, I can tell you that my Chinese students, and I've had many Chinese students, all adults, teachers or new teachers, they love to talk about anything, and they will talk about anything, even all the apparently difficult topics. And some of the young Americans, when we get on to certain subjects, they didn't want to talk about it. And furthermore, they didn't want anybody else to talk about it. So this is the wrong culture, isn't it? It's completely the wrong culture. As I say, I don't really know where I'm going with this. It's, I just wanted to react, and it's about time that I did an education video. I've personally created, well, I wrote the first draft of an education charter for the World Freedom Alliance, which they revised and so on, and then you know, that's now part of their mission, and I do work with the education pillar. But in my charter, I based it on values and principles. And it seems to me that there are no values and principles. And the idea of values and principles is that they support and enhance human life. There doesn't seem to be any. All lined up in rows and columns, no speaking together, no listening. Did you know that basically there's about, in the 12 years of schooling, we get through about 10, 12, 15,000 hours of education. What can you remember? What skills did you learn? Did they teach you how your body works, how your mind works? Did they invite you to learn about who you are and learn about the human experience and how we connect to the whole web of life out there? Did they teach you about healthy practices, healthy diets, healthy lifestyles? Or were they banning everything? There's a lot of work facing the human family. And for me, it truly begins in the classroom. Education is supposed to be the vanguard, at the vanguard of change and evolution. And the concept implicit in evolution is that we improve ourselves over time. Now we may go 2 steps backwards, but so long as we go 3 steps forwards, it doesn't really matter. But we're just going back and back and back and back. And this is why 2020 exploded on the scene. And then look what we're doing. Injecting children with all kinds of poisons and blocking their oxygen flow and hiding their faces even further. It's diabolical. It's nothing to do with the human essence. Anyway, that's my rant and rave. I used to do ranting and raving many years ago, a lot, but then I decided, well, the world needs solutions, and that's what I'm about. I am an educator of educators, and I can teach 12 teachers in one go in the university classroom, but I want to get my reach out, so I'm now in the process of creating an online course for parents, teachers, adults, and the idea is to do what Krishnamurti, one of our true masters of the 20th century, was always saying: we need to educate the educators. The adults were ruined by the school system, but it's the adults who are teaching and bringing up today's children. And if we're ruined, even if we want the best for our children, we can't give our best to the children because we're not our best. So my mission is educating the educators, and the educators are basically parents, teachers, educators, leaders, healers, activists, journalists. Anybody who influences other people is an educator. And either we ban other people from saying the wrong words, or we encourage discussion, and through discussion we come to understand. And when we understand, we're not fixed with knowledge, and we're not fixed in this culture of certainty where, in fact, we're ignorant because the schools made us ignorant. So, yeah, this is my mission, to help many other people rebuild and transform the education system. And I'll put a link in below, but in fact I've written an ebook which is 30 pages. It's a complimentary ebook. So if you sign up to my email list down below, this book will come out to you and you can read about it. It's called An Education Charter and Framework for the Healing of Humankind. And its premise is, if you want a flourishing society tomorrow, you need a flourishing classroom today. And parents, the classrooms at home as well, the classrooms in the forest, it's out in the mountains, it's in the schools. The classroom is everywhere, because wherever learning can take place, that's your classroom. And I promote lifelong learning as much as you breathe every day and you eat every day. And this is the protector, and this is the promoter of life and health. If you've got this far, thank you very much for entertaining my rant. I'll be a little bit more planned next time, and watch out for more if you're interested in proper education, because there's a lot coming from me in 2023. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.